What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto. Welcome to the War Room. I already messed my hair up. We are War Room Philly. Welcome to the War Room. I am pissed because I was all jacked up for a Flyers tie. And we got goals galore here in the third period, chat. It is now 5-4 Detroit Red Wings. I almost said Tigers, I'm not going to lie. I almost said Lions, actually. But I got too many Detroit names in my head. Sam Emerson's... We got Joe Heston in chat. Oh my God, I love it. What up, Joe? What up? Eric, that's you out there, right? I think that's Eric, right? What up, everyone? What up, guys? It's so good to see you. We're gonna get into it tonight. It's gonna really be the only two teams that are worth talking about. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk some Flyers tonight. We're gonna talk some Eagles tonight. That being said, we can get a little venting out first. Who am I more pissed off? I'm more pissed off about the Phillies. So we'll start there. Let's start with the Phillies. Hold up. Let's start with chat. Fuck my thoughts. Anthony, you ready to be at Broad Street in a month and a half? Hey, you know it. If it's happening, I'll be on the Morris block. You know it. That's where I always do my I go to Pop's shop down at 7th and Morris, and I walk from there. I did it for the Phillies parade, which the thought of a Phillies parade at this point in time seems like a fucking joke. And I did it for the Eagles parade, and the Eagles parade is it could happen. The Eagles have won 10 straight. And we're going to talk very much about the Eagles. But yeah, Joe, you're leading me in. Joe, let's stick to the comments to the Phillies right now, because I'm on board with you here. And we can even do that conversation too, because I want to say it was Greg, but it might have been Keith. One of our beautiful admins here at facebook.com/warroomphilly. One of our beautiful admins posted who is the closest to winning a championship, or who was the furthest away, I think was actually who it was. We can do that during the show. We got an hour or so. Hey, if you guys are talking, I'll sit here all night. I might have to take a blinker break. But that being said, yeah, let's get to it real quick. We're going to fire on all cylinders. I will talk all four teams for at least a brief moment. But here's what I will say. Let's just get these two ugly ones out of the way, and then we can bounce back and forth between Eagles and Flyers all night. Let's just get the Phillies out of the way, and then we'll get a little Sixers talk out of the way as well, and then we'll get into it. Then we'll have fun. But let's start off first and foremost with the Philadelphia Phillies, who, Joe, I already saw your displeasure. Your displeasurement. I already saw that you were also pissed. Let's just skip the college words. And here's what I'll say. I think I agree with you, but I'm just going to give Dave Dombrowski this one potential out, because I heard things from Jim Salisbury where, the payroll is tight. And if Dombrowski's lack of action is happening because Dave Middleton isn't willing to open up the checkbook, well, he made the claims. Like, you set the standard. You want to, every time you get to celebrate, you want to do the macho, I want my bleeping trophy, and, you love getting your face out there and putting your brand on it, right? And you want to have, like, when the team's winning, you want to be seen with that. But then it seems like, is it a two-faced thing here? Because if this team, if he really is willing to be spending the way we think he says he's going to be spending and this, that, and the other, then to get outbid by all of the other big market teams and all of these key players that have moved this offseason it's just you're all talk and you know, and I'm like, someone's here to blame. Who should we be mad at? Should we be mad at Middleton? Should we be mad at Dombrowski? I don't know, but I'm mad. That's all I do know. I am absolutely furious at the fucking A's have made a trade this offseason. The A's made a trade this offseason. They don't even have a stadium. We signed a fucking bullpen piece. That's it. It's a goddamn, like, it's like a Daryl Morey offseason. The Phillies have got beat this offseason by every big market team, chat. And guess what? They got beat during the season by every big market team. I don't know where to go. I'm not going to do the thing that I did last year, because last year, chat, I was mad right at this time of the year, right? But then the season rolled around and I put the clown makeup on. And they let us down. And I refuse to think that this team a year older is going to get any better. Because that's what I thought last year. Oh, well, you know, they'll have some pieces. They just need to gel, blah, 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 blah. I drank the Kool-Aid, and I can't do that this year. Not when I'm also watching the team that won the World Series get better. And I'm watching all of the team, the Mets, get Soto. The Mets, who, by the way, eliminated you from the fucking playoffs, just got better. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time. I don't want to lose too many brain cells on the Phillies just quite yet. But it's been a while since we've been here, chat. It's been a while since we all said what's up. So, I'm pissed off! Yeah, Daryl Morey needs to go. We'll transition there. I'll get there. But all right, I did my rant. Now let me see what I saw. I see you guys going up and down. The Dodgers won the World Series and they signed Snell. Excellent point, Joe. Part of my little rant there. Daryl Morey hasn't. Daryl Morey at least has attempted. I mean, has he? No, I don't want to get into that too seriously. Since Trey Turner. Dombrowski has been in the closet. And since Trey Turner... Well, I mean, you got to remember, Joe, he did have he had a really good... I'm sorry, I can't get through it. I can't get through it without laughing. He did make that huge Austin Hayes acquisition at last year's deadline. Come on, dude. What do you mean he didn't? I can't do it. I can't do it. No, that was Joe and you, and we were there. I think that was like probably the last time we all felt underwhelmed. And that's the thing. It's like with the Phillies, even last offseason, it was, they're going to make them, there's going to be a trade. Like, we all just like sipped on that fucking Kool-Aid, and it doesn't taste good anymore. Rightfully so to all of us. Making an okay bullpen move, and that be the only thing that's happened, is just not good enough. And I'm sorry, I'm distracted because Torts is freaking out on the sideline, or on the bench, excuse me, wrong sport. And I have no idea what's going on because I'm doing a sports talk show. But yeah, the pitching, we do. Like, both sides have talent, but both sides are lacking consistency. And that's why I think that there needed to be changes. Whether it just be something like you're getting Bohm out of here, get Nolan Arenado in here, something has to be changed with this lineup as far as the Phillies go for this team to be taken seriously. So, well, last year, I mean, it depends on your definition of last year. I'm now saying last year, Joe, as the season that just passed. So last season, maybe I should have said. But yeah, I'm talking about the Austin Hayes deadline, which was last season at this point. So, you know me, I always misspeak. What up, Murph? Good to hear you. Phillies can't run it back. See. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't even need to be. Oh, I got you, Joe. I see what you're saying. The year before, it was Lorenzen, which was another mediocre trade deadline. Absolutely. And we said it that year, too. Ooh. You know it's serious when I hit puberty mid-show. We did. We were just as, and that was, I'm getting PTSD, but that was part of this year's rants, was this feels just like last year. Last year it wasn't enough. This year it wasn't enough. This offseason, it's not enough. So explain to me, a Phillies fan with a wallet, why should I be spending money on your team right now? The simple answer is I'm not. I will buy a ticket the day of the game when I need it. But I'm not, you're rendering yourself not a hot enough ticket that people are not going to be investing in this team preseason, like season ticket, or like your sales team is banking on. So, I mean, Joe, how many Flyers games have you been to this year? I'm curious. Because I see that you're talking about, I know you're a loyal game attender. But yeah, we can, anybody in chat, okay, too, good. That's a respectable number, Joe. That means because like back in the day, see, that's what I'm saying. Back in the day, it would have been like, oh, I've been to 15 by now. But you know, we're older now, and we got bills, and it's mean in these streets. Work makes it hard for me to do this show. I know. I came right home from work. I took a poop, and I'm here, and I'm on live. Did I wash my hands? Oh, no, I did not. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, it's just, back in the day, you got Flyers tickets for less than 20. True. You can still I think the Flyers are probably the most reasonable ticket in town currently, but don't quote me on that. I haven't looked at No, you know what? I'm sure the Sixers probably have rendered their ticket value worthless. But that's like, there's a reason for that. No one wants, my hands smell like Dombrowski's off season. He called the shit poop. But yeah, I mean, the Sixers have rendered themselves and especially now with Jared McCain out, the Sixers are literally not worth our eyes. Embiid's face hurts as much as my eyes do watching the team. It's like, excuse me. It's tough. It's just they're not, forget our money. the 76ers are just not worth our time this year. And I told you when we signed Paul George that my enthusiasm for this team it died. And they're showing me he played one preseason game and his knee bent backwards. And that's happened twice. Breaking news. Old injured players don't become healthy magically. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Embiid, I don't know what to say because it's not his fault, but yet again, another dirty play. He's got a broken face. And it's just I'm starting to think the NBA Illuminati is just out to get him. But, yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately, if you want to trade Embiid, you have to trade Maxey. Because if you're really going to rebuild this, and I don't know how you're going to get rid of Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George. It's fun to say, oh, they need to do that, but they just signed these guys, including Embiid, to multi-year deals. So I think you're just stuck with it. I think that's about it. We're stuck with it. Yeah, it's just a tough one. It's not really a tough one, in fact. It's the Sixers officially are where the Flyers were for me a few years back, where it's I'm not even mad. I honestly don't care. You're not worth my time. You're not worth my money. You're not worth my energy. So it's probably the last you'll hear about the Sixers until something else happens. I don't know what the hell what to say. I really don't care about them. But yeah, I guess we can any other any Sixers, Flyers, or not Sixers, Flyers, but any Sixers or Phillies points that we want to wrap up, we can wrap them up as we can start kind of transitioning in to the Eagles and Flyers portion of the show. Sorry, I need a little. That's usually when you get the co-host. When you got the co-host, you can just throw something over to them. That's when you get the water break in. One of the many, many perks of having one. But anyway. Yeah, just wrapping up my thoughts on I guess both of these teams. More in particular the Phillies, because I just don't give a shit about the Sixers at this point. The Phillies, this whole, now we're not trading Bohm. And someone has to get traded on this team. It doesn't have to be Bohm. Someone has to get traded in that lineup. As far as pitching goes, I don't really think... I'm not necessarily concerned that they need to add a lot of pitching. I still believe that Andrew Painter is going to be kind of the addition from within. I very much believe in him as a prospect, and I think that if healthy, he can be plugged right into that starting rotation next year. If not, maybe even a potential bullpen piece. But I would have him as a 5th, 6th starter off the bat if healthy. I think he makes this team better off the bat. He's better than Taijuan Walker. You have your 4 other guys that are solid. So I don't think that there's much that you're going to need to change pitching-wise. Unless you don't get Hoffman back, then you're going to have to replace him. And then that's another rant for another day. But that's probably, I don't think you're going to make any big changes within the rotation, or, I don't think much else is changing as far as the bullpen goes, pending that Hoffman situation. Maybe there's another move that they try to get free agency-wise. I don't think they're going to go out there and do anything via trade. I think the trade and the shakeup that's needed in this team is going to come hopefully through the lineup. But right now, it seems like they're just going to do fuck all. So it's just, I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. But yeah, let's kick it on over and let's start talking about our 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Because we have won 10 straight. We've come a long way from a tenuous 2-2. And we've come a long way from that 10-1 season, that, the collapse. So I guess, where do we begin? We can begin with this offense, which in my opinion has been pretty damn good all year. Some ups and downs, obviously. But my favorite thing about Philadelphia is they'll yell at Nick Sirianni for not running the ball enough. Then, when we're running the ball to the tune that our running back is a potential MVP candidate, now the story becomes, oh, well, Jalen Hurts can't pass. Which is like, that is some 2 + 2 = 5 shit if I've ever heard. And I think the fact that we have quote-unquote insiders who are tied to radio shows and asking players questions right after the game inside the locker room, I think is pretty fucking laudable, laughable. And I think that, this city needs to do better at, just in general, as far as how the mainstream sports talks go anymore. That being said, things are looking pretty good right now. And I feel like, for me, my only question is, how does Nick Sirianni prove to us that he's not going to do some of the bonehead things, in particular, like the Jaguars game, where he just refused to make the right call. And just, is he going to keep doubling down on when he doesn't make a 4th and 1? Oh, now I got to make it. Now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. And it's like, for me, that's my biggest concern still. And I'm not a Nick Sirianni hater. However, I was freaking out about him when we were 2-2 because it felt like there was that same collapse energy. Now, flip that to the good. You go to that locker room, and those vibes have never been as high. So it's like a give and take. But, I guess that's my biggest fear, is that this team isn't going to be its own worst enemy. It's going to be that Nick Sirianni kind of just tries to, get in the way by making the wrong decision. Now, again, he hasn't done that, but how many times has he been put in that situation since, what I mean? It almost feels like he's ran himself out of that situation, and, there hasn't been too many times where it's like, oh, I would have done this, or it's kind of, he hasn't put himself in too many, micromanageable situations, if that's for lack of a better term. So, I just think that it's worth noting. But I see this whole, Jalen needs to be better at consistency. He needs better consistency at throwing. I'd like to see Hurts get rid of the ball and not take sacks. That's the only gripe I have. Let's go to the stats when it comes to those numbers, because off the top of my head, I don't think Jalen Hurts has taken too many sacks, and never seems like his consistency has wavered. It just seems like the Eagles simply were running the ball more, which is what most people wanted them to do anyway. But completion percentage, 69% currently, 65%, 66%. Nothing to complain about. That's throughout the last 3 years. He's made 2 Pro Bowls in those last 2 years. You look at the yardage. Everyone said, oh, last year it was such a bad year. But he put up career yardage as far as 3,800 yards goes. I just think that there's like, we micromanage in this city. And it's, oh, he missed one throw. He missed one throw, so he needs to be more consistent. Listen to yourself. Yeah, he missed one throw. That's not a lack of inconsistency. It's, okay, he's not perfect. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Tom Brady. But, like, watch other football games. No quarterback, especially right now, is perfect. So, I just think at times this town needs to just stay out of its own way. And I just think that people overthink things, or maybe they underthink them. I think we just get way carried away. Score! Did we just tie it up? Oh, no, he's dead. I thought we tied it up. I saw the players put their arms up, but it's because a fucking player died on the ice. I'm sorry. Since when do we just stop a play because someone got hit with a puck? What the hell? Damn. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted. I thought we just tied the game up. Instead, it looks like, I mean, he was fine. I'm so confused as though he took a puck off the face, so I get it. But anyway, Harrison, of course, Harrison comes in, like, has that the night you're looking for, the night I'm live, Joe. But let's talk about the Flyers goalies real quick, because we can talk Flyers. We'll hop back onto the Eagles. I think the Flyers goaltending has been better than expected. Again, we have to take everything with a grain of salt, and this game is over. We have to take everything with a grain of salt, because we understand the situation, right? We understand that none of these goalies were really supposed to be in the situation that they're in. This team isn't supposed to be in the situation that they're in, but some people suck at being human beings, so we are in that situation. I think Sam Harrison is, and we've said this before, I think he's a 1B. And at this point, if we can end this season where I'm like, we got 3 1Bs, I think that might be a win, given what this team was put through. I think we're still figuring out who the best one is and can be. Right now, personally, I think the best prospect is probably Kolosov. I think the worst prospect is Fedotov, although he has even looked sick. Like, he went from, I don't want to see this guy in the league, to, like, showing me some very consistent flashes as of late. And I don't know what switched with him, but, that's it, but it's been working. That being said, I think that, and we're about to lose. I think that you guys are distracting me. I gotta, like, turn it off and then just talk. You guys, I love that you're being active, but I'm trying to read and make points, and I have ADHD, so I'm just turning the chat off. Like, you guys keep talking, and I will get back to you, but I just need to make my points. Then I can read chat. But yeah, as far as these 3 goalies go, I think that right now, Harrison is the most NHL ready for right now. And I think that he, just because of age and blah, 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 I think he's closest to his max, which, also is, like, I think he's closest to his ceiling right now. And, that's not saying a lot for him, but we just have to look, we also have to look big picture, other than just right now as well. So I think that Harrison is probably going to get the bulk of your games throughout this season. However, you might start seeing where Tortorella is doing things like putting Kolosov in maybe the more important games, and maybe the more marquee games, because he's going to be testing this kid. I do think that Kolosov is probably the best prospect right now for the Flyers. I think that if there's a goalie on this team that I could say might be a 1A of the future, it's Kolosov. That being said, if we can just finish this year with 3 1Bs, that's a huge win, because just a couple weeks ago, I thought Fedotov couldn't even play in the NHL. So if he's even a prospect that you can try to move and get something in return for, that would be significant. I think that, we're kind of... That's now ultimately the goal, too, of this season, is to figure out all 3 of those guys as well. But yeah, now I can try to read chat and see what's worth bringing back up. Where's Voice of Hope? I see you agree with me there as far as the Kolosov, Joe. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so we didn't miss much. But yeah, Flyers took that L, which that's rough. But yeah, I think that to me is now, that's the big storyline, I if you will, of the rest of the season is going to be what you have of those 3 goaltenders, what you have for the future. I think we all agree that Kolosov is probably, if there's that star prospect, he's the guy. And if you can get it to where in maybe even next year or 2 years, you have Kolosov and maybe even Fedotov is just backup. But if these goaltenders are still on this team in 2 years, that might be a very good sign. I don't think Sam Ersson is ever going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he can ever be a 1A. But I do think that Sam Ersson can be a 1B to a hockey team, no matter what you want to say about him in chat, Joe. And I do think that there's value to that. I think that there is very much value into having that 1B in today's hockey, where, it's modern day hockey. The goalies don't play the back-to-backs. That's where the load management happens in the NHL, and it makes sense to do it too then. It's, most goalies aren't going to be playing, especially these young guys where, goalies in particular in the NHL develop later. So I think you don't want to necessarily overreact, underreact to everything that you just see or don't see from these goalies in the immediate future. That being said, again, I still don't think that there's much more room for Ersson. I'm not going to go out and act like he's got a ton of room to grow. But these 2 Russians, you could see that. I guess Kolosov is technically from Belarus, but let's not get this story. Flyers are teetering that eighth seed, no lottery pick. Yeah, I think the Flyers should shoot for the playoffs this year. That being said, I think that it's not going to be a massive letdown if they don't make the playoffs, right? But the goal is, I think the goal at this point for the Flyers is to make the playoffs, and rightfully so. Matvei Michkov alone is worth our time. We were talking about the Sixers, the Flyers are worth my eyes for no other reason other than Matvei Michkov, but also I can give you a ton of other reasons as well. My problem is they need more play. Yes, I mean I've only said that since the dawn of this show, but yes, they need someone they need these guys like Tippett we need someone to be consistent, because you get Tippett that shows flashes, you get Frost that shows glimpses. I don't even want to call it flashes because it's far in between, but like you need even TK to kind of step it up a little bit more offensively, and to boost around him. But we need to see more offensive consistency out of some of the younger crew for sure. I'm not sure that I don't know that the Flyers are going to be buyers per se in this market, but yeah, and I'm not knocking TK again. I'm speaking like just off the top of my head. Coots isn't going anywhere, no matter what we all say. Just look at his contract, and what NHL team is going to want that. So, again, we can say things, but let's say things that have merit. They're more fun to talk about. But yeah, again, we can move it on to, because as soon as I start seeing people talk about the Flyers captain, it's time to talk about the Sixers. Or the Sixers, I'm sorry, the Eagles. Because, yeah, no. That's the dumbest points in Philadelphia. I hate it. The dude is trash. Farabee, again, not sure that he's going anywhere, but those are the guys, like, those are the guys I'm talking about where there's definitely a little bit of lack of consistency. But, moving into minute 40 of the show, so let's start talking some Eagles. Let's have some talk about the Birds, and it's a 12-2 season. It's looking pretty damn good, and again, I think the biggest room for excitement right now with the Eagles is you're doing it on the ground and you're doing it with your defense. And it's super easy to be consistent as a good team when you're doing it with those two things. You're doing it with a potential MVP with Saquon Barkley. And then as far as your defense goes, and I saw him getting love in the chat earlier, but yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, Rookie of the Year candidate. Cooper DeJean right there with him. But Vic Fangio has this defense firing on just absolutely all cylinders. I mean, it wasn't too far ago. It was this time last year I was bitching about Nakobe Dean because he couldn't get on the field, much less if we knew if he could play or not. And now that he's finally healthy and on the field, we're getting that player that we were excited about come draft day. Nakobe Dean's, and just that defensive line, even without Brandon Graham, even without Fletcher Cox. Now, Fletcher Cox retiring, Brandon Graham recently injured. It just doesn't. Like, Nolan Smith has emerged as if he's Hassan Reddick. Josh Sweat exists, whereas last year I didn't know what number he was. You might get Bryce Huff back, and if he can start contributing as well, and not looking like a bust of a free agent signing, it could really lead to some things. The reason for hope for me with this team, because like I said, it's this is an appreciative comment for Nolan Smith. Yeah, hey, we at times were all a little rough on all of the Georgia guys for one reason or another, and it takes time to develop. And I think in this chat we gave that sentiment as well. I don't think any of us in this chat were like, these guys suck. It was more like, it wasn't like these guys suck and they're bust. It was like, why do these guys suck right now? Because we know they're better players. And yeah, it's just been really just an emergence for these guys. And yeah, it's led by, like you were saying, Jalen Carter, who is one of, if not the best, for sure. I think he's got to be up there with one of the best defensive linemen in the game right now. He's potentially Aaron Donald in the making. Would love to see it. So, but yeah, as far as this team goes, we got the Commanders up next. What do we want to think here? Is it AJ Brown or is it Jalen Hurts? Who was last week's bomb player of the week? I would give it to Jalen Hurts last week. I don't have the full stats in front of me. Hold up. ESPN. We got AJ Brown, 8 catches, 110, and a touchdown. We got Devontae Smith, 11 catches, 109, and a touchdown. Yeah, I think based off of that, you go Jalen Hurts, who I think had his best game of the season. Do you guys agree with me? And here's what I'll say. I see, like, what? Who cares? Who the fuck cares about Dotson? Look at the scoreboard. 27-13. Fuck Dotson. I don't care who gets the ball. Look at the scoreboard. What's our record? 12-2. Fuck Dotson. It's a simple thing. We don't have to worry about these known... Oh, I need Shipley to get the ball. I really wish Kenny Gain... Fuck these guys. We have A.J. Brown. We have Devontae Smith. We have Saquon Barkley. We have Jalen Hurts. When Dallas Goedert is healthy. Fuck Dotson. Fuck Dotson. That being said, with the Commanders coming up this week, let's get Dotson involved. Let's get him going against his old team. Let's get him going. I can play both sides. Gainwell, no, I'm just picking up. I was just riffing a little bit there. Gainwell is exactly what he needs to be. He is a very solid backup. Last week he did that tornado spin move. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Gainwell is this year's Clement. Does that mean he's going to catch a 30-yard bomb in the Super Bowl? Because I'll take it. And we got from Eric, he says, I get that and all, but not to be the bearer of bad news here, but you kind of need them because if something happens to Russ. Again, you can't, if he sucks, we can't worry about him. He has shown us absolutely no reason that we have to be like, oh, he's got to get the ball. When Jahan Dotson makes me worry about his name, I will. But until then, I'm just going to roll with what I got. And what I got right now is a fucking offense that is firing on all cylinders. And we're 12-2. You're just nitpicking and or trying to sound overly smart by they need to do this or they need to, and it's what Philadelphians do. That's why I started this site, to put people in place. And then every now and then I realize that I'm the idiot. Sometimes that happens. Most of the times it happens. They haven't, exactly, that's what I'm saying. They haven't even had Goddard, and I still don't need to worry about Dotson because they're just, it's been working. And also, I don't know. As a fantasy owner of Goddard for far too many years, he's not Zach Ertz. He's not. I think Goddard, and I love Goddard, and he's fine, and he does his job in this offense, but I think he was a little overhyped. Or just he thinks he's one of the best tight ends in the game, but I think he's good. That's all. I take prime Ertz. I don't want Ertz right now. Look at the Bills. They have no wide receivers. They got that wide receiver Josh Allen. He made that catch the other. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you had Calcaterra step up and get that touchdown in the Panthers game. You even have that Johnny Wilson who they'll throw in the red zone packages every now and then. Like, this team is just fine. And again, I think now it just comes down to it really comes down to and I don't want to be like the doomsday prepper, but like it just comes down to, can Nick Sirianni stay in his lane? And I mean that with all due respect. I like Sirianni. I'm a Sirianni fan. I'm not one of these guys that I was a little bit of that guy at 2-2, I admit. But he's shown his value time and time again. You got Josh Allen MVP, Barkley Offensive Player of the Year. I'd be okay with that. I think at this point they just need to make the MVP like a quarterback trophy, and then give like just do like the quarterback MVP and then the non-quarterback MVP. But that being said, Barkley's campaign is not over yet. And quarterback of the year. It's not bad. Campaign of the year, and or what the hell did I just say? What the hell? Campaign of the No, I just mixed two thoughts up in my head reading chats. This is why every now and then I like to just close chat, get my thoughts out, and then read. But my brain liked to do everything at once. But see, come on, guys. Fuck the draft. We're not talking about the draft. Campaign Sixers. No, that's not. I was like, I hate that guy. I hate the Sixers. Don't get me started. I can't breathe out of my nose at all right now, chat. This show is a struggle at times. I'm talking so much that I'm gonna like just faint, just like conk out, because I can't breathe. I need my damn nasal spray. I got it. It's just, you guys mind if I go take a hit in the other room? And it's not even gonna be the medicinal. It's just gonna be my sinus medicine. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. But yeah, I mean, let's take a look here. Let's look at the Eagles schedule. Let's look at the Lions schedule. So the Bills winning over the Lions, it really makes things interesting now, because now it becomes, can we win the 1 seed or not? And both of these teams, we got 3 games left. Who do you got for the Lions? You got the Lions have the Bears, the Niners, and the Vikings. Now, that Vikings game is going to be huge. So we know one of those 2 teams at least has 1 loss. Now, we got to bring the Vikings schedule into this as well. Here's the thing, though. If the Vikings get the number 1 seed, we can win in that stadium. We know that. So we've won our most important game in that Vikings stadium. So I'm like, and the Vikings last 3 games, the Vikings are cooked, dude. The Vikings could lose their last 3 games. This is hilarious. The Vikings, led by Sam Darnold, by the way, have the Seahawks, Packers, and Lions up next. The Vikings very may well lose their next 4 games, including the playoffs. So there's that. So we don't have to worry about the Vikings. That being said, I do think the Vikings... Oh, I just closed the wrong tab. Yeah. I do think the Vikings could be... Like, I could see the Vikings losing... They're going to lose against the Packers. Let's just call it what it is. They'll lose to the Packers. Then they might need that win against the Lions. If they knock the Lions down there and the Eagles win out, only losing 2 games this season... you would take the 1 seed, and having that 1 seed, bringing any of those, in particular those teams that we're talking about, sans the Packers, who I see, the Packers, they're made for the cold weather. You don't get necessarily that boost there, but I mean, if you're talking about the Vikings, you're talking about the Lions, these dome teams coming into Philly. They ain't standing a shot. They ain't got a prayer, boss. They ain't got a prayer. So, yeah, I think that right now, that's the goal, is to focus on that 1 seed. And I think the Eagles, just looking at these schedules, I think the Eagles have a shot. I don't know why, but I could see the Bears trying to give their last hurrah against the Lions this week. Although coming off of a loss, it's going to be tough. So really, looking at the Lions schedule, honestly, the only loss I could see potentially going for them is the Vikings, who I don't believe in. Let me make that clear. I don't believe in. But I do think that the Vikings, coming off of potentially 2 back-to-back losses, might just be pissed off, and they might get that division win. Packers-Eagles NFC title game, that's a very strong prediction, Joe. It's a very strong prediction. I would say, objectively, that's who I would... Yeah, I got the Packers and the Lions pretty much a dead even. As far as I look at both of those teams at the same plateau, in my opinion. I think the Lions are a little bit better of an overall team. I think that Jordan Love is a little bit better of a quarterback. And you guys know how I feel, or maybe you don't, but I think come playoff time, I give the edge over a quarterback. I simplify things maybe a little too much. Sometimes I just go, that quarterback's the better of the 2. They're going to win. You'd be surprised how often that's right in the NFL, in modern day NFL. Yeah, David Montgomery going down, that's stuff. We destroyed their 3 best chance. Yeah. Lions, Eagles, another strong predictions. I'll take the Eagles Chiefs rematch. I'll take Eagles anybody if it's the Super Bowl. Just get me there. Just get me there. Bills, Eagles, and who knows if the world is standing after that. It would be an interesting, I don't think the 2 fan bases would fight. I almost think that a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl would be the ultimate tailgate. I think we would just respect each other's crazy. And yeah, in New Orleans too. Holy shit. Let Joe Heston cook from chat. That's what I'm saying. We'd be like, throw me through a fucking table. Throw me through it. We'd be volunteering. And then there's, the Jason Kelsey, like, random link, too, right? Where he was partying with them. So I think that would be, like, now, one of the cities would burn after, actually, okay, they would both burn after the game just out of celebration and not celebration. But I think the people in New Orleans would have a great time. Pre-game in particular. Yeah, I try not to think too far into the future when it comes to that, but I mean that would be, you would have Jason Kelsey probably reporting out there too. That'd be fun. Then again, Eagles anybody would be fun. Then again, Eagles winning over anybody would be the most fun. Right? So I don't care if it's like Eagles versus the 8th seed that snuck through from the like it's the Texans. Just as long as it's the Eagles representing that NFC, I'm happy. But the Bills, just like, again, now I'm getting a little far, but like the Bills would be, because the Bills have a really strong offense and we have a really strong defense. That would be an interesting little matchup. The Chiefs, I think right now the Chiefs, I probably got the Eagles over the Chiefs. Baltimore, you got to consider Baltimore. Now we're really thinking out, like we're theory crafting. Those are like the main competitors, both sides. But we'll see. We got to worry about ours first. That's, as Jalen says, we got to keep the main thing. But, I just think that right now, that one seed's, it's possible. We really needed the Bills to win that game, and they did. So, whatever your thoughts are on Josh Allen, he did the Eagles a solid by putting up 48 points against what's supposed to be such a good Lions defense, right? Although it looks like anytime the Lions play a real competitor, it seems like teams can put up points against them. I don't know. I'm looking at the Lions, and they got 20 opening day, 20 against the Rams, 20 against the Lions, 29 against the Seahawks, 29 against the Vikings. The Packers put up 14 and 31 in their two matches, 23 against the Texans. And they got Jared Goff as their quarterback. So, I don't know. I've been a hater of Jared Goff since draft day. But yeah, I gotta be honest. I think Josh Allen is top 2 quarterbacks in the league. It's kind of tough to go against that, but I don't know. Eric, who do you like? 'Cause you were hating on Hurts. You're hating on Josh Allen. Who do we like? But yeah, I think we can start wrapping it into like a little bit of the final thoughts. We can start doing. You sound like me, man. Yeah, I'm like, I got 2 Joe Hestons in chat. I got 2. Um, yeah, we can start doing predictions. We can do bonfire predictions. Let me start theory crafting. I usually do this before the show, but I also usually have some time before the show. But today, I just saw the Flyers were playing. I was like, I get done. Let's just get home. Let's do a show, and I can scratch my butt later. But yeah, where are we on time? All right, we're at 10 o'clock. Yeah, let's start. Let's start. Final thought. I love the new stadium proposal, Joe. You and me both. You and me both. Because I love hearing all the backlash from people, and in 15 years, when there's this beautiful part of the city that we're all enjoying, they're all going to look so fucking stupid. This has worked literally everywhere it's been done. I will say, Joe, and this was from Greg, probably the best point I've heard so far about this. Greg mentioned the Flyers are going to have a tough time with their ticket prices, potentially, because with them only having one team in that stadium, their overhead goes up. So potentially the one biggest annoyance of all of this is that in 15 years, at the waning end of Matvei Michkov's career, the ticket prices may be going up. But that'll be a couple cups later, and, that's the other thing. People think, like, oh, there's just going to be a new stadium next year. Like, this is going to take so long. This is just, we'll get there. But I love that point. It feels like I haven't found anybody else that is in favor of it, Joe. So it's nice to hear it. It's the only thing I'm in favor of the Sixers doing currently. Let's see here. Get your son, not to nitpick. And now, first of all, Eric, this is the place to be argumentative. This is a sports talk show. We are here. And it's not arguing. We're not arguing. We playfully disagree. We playfully disagree. So this is, and let's keep it to that too. Let's keep it nice, but we playfully disagree. That's all. But yeah. But again, I need you. See, I said my thing was, I said, well, who do you like? And you're like, I don't like anyone. I'm a defensive guy. So it's my guy. There's got to be one quarterback you like. But no, again, unfortunately, I don't feel like Hurts is as good as people think. But I disagree with that. If he didn't have his legs, well, guess what? He does have his legs. Like you can't just take things out to make your argument sound good. He does have his legs. That's a part of his game. I'm sorry. So yeah, I got those two games and that's the point about AJ Brown. I got nothing to no real argument against, other than it was very early on in the season, and I don't think Nick Sirianni quite had his shit together. Oh, you like Nick Foles is like 6 games as an Eagle? That's cute. That's what's up. Yeah, see, Eric, when you get muted, that's when you know you've made it, because that's true. The biggest thing, I'll mute Joe, and then it'll be like for 5,000. I'm like, I wanted to mute him for 30 seconds, and Twitch has got some weird shit about it. But yeah. Again, this is it's been a fun one. I love it. But yeah, I think I'm trying to think. We did final, but let's get some bomb player predictions too. That's where we were gonna go. Let me start thinking about this game. We didn't talk at all about the Commanders, so yeah, that's the best one was when you came in the chat as like Ben Simmons or something. It was like Ben Simmons. I forget, Joe. But yeah, let's start thinking. And I might even come on and do a pregame show Sunday. I am off Sunday, so I could potentially do a pregame. If I do a pregame, we'll just have blinders on, and it'll be all about the Washington game. But we can do a little bit of talk here, thinking about it. Here's what I'll say about the Commanders. first and foremost, that's a team that historically plays us tough. That's a team that, no matter if they're good or bad, they stick it to us. They play us tough, and it's a franchise that's been a thorn in our sides. You win 28 or 26-18 earlier in the year, in a game that really felt like a statement for the Eagles, to prove their dominance and assert their dominance in the NFC East, as at that time the Commanders were the hot commodity, and it felt like that Eagles victory kind of put the halt on that overhype of the Commanders. So that being said, I think this game is going to be a game where you're going to have to probably put up again somewhere in that 26 range. You're going to have to contain Daniels. And you're really going to have to make that rookie quarterback, work for it. As far as the Eagles offense goes, just do your thing. You run first and second down, and you go from there. It's so simple. And to think that people are complaining that, like, they're trying to use the fact that the Eagles run the ball on first and second down against Jalen Hurts. It's just like, huh? The Saints sacked Daniels 8 times. That's a fantastic stat from chat. I appreciate that, Joe. I was actually leaning Jalen Carter. I saw you took Mitchell, and he was one of the guys in my head. I was kind of feeling defense this week. I might go Jalen Carter. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I have ADHD. I just say things on the spot. I don't think about them. But this is the game against the Eagles. Jaden Daniels had 191, a touchdown, and an interception. What's their record at this point? We got the Saints at 9, or not the Saints, the Commanders at 9-5. So it's a game they kind of desperately need to win. I hate to say that. That is scary for the Eagles. Because what are the full standings for the NFC? I don't even want to look at this because I'm going to start scaring myself. Because they're thorns, man. The thorns in our fucking side. Sorry, they got wild card. Yeah, they have the last wild card spot, I think. Yeah, you gotta have both of the. How many wild card spots are there now, chat? I'm sorry, there's so many fucking. What's it? 3? Right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 3 wild card spots, right? So then, right now, you have it's either going to be the Vikings it's going to be the Vikings and the Packers. And then, yeah, they're right there with potentially the only other competition for them would be the NFC West. Whoever doesn't claim the NFC West, depending on how they finish. So they need this game. They don't desperately need it, but they need it as bad as we do. And Washington they're pesky. They scare me. So it's a game where I think Saquon Barkley, first and second down, feed him early and often. I think get that clock moving, get the time of possession up. You can play that defensive style of ball from the offense. And I think the Eagles do that so well this year with that very much running style that they play. Run, control the ball, very slow, methodical drives. And they should be able to take care of this game. They should be able to win this game. It's where we at? It is on the road,
So that's another little tip for the Commanders. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it sounds a bit of a home game. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to think of my bomb player prediction here. Coming up on the end of the year, I've used pretty much everyone, so we could start reusing people. Um, I think that I think I'm gonna go Jalen Carter. Maybe a little strip sack action. I got Jalen Carter. I don't know why. I wanted to go Quinyon Mitchell, but I saw Joe said something about him in chat, so I don't want to. I don't want to rain on Joe's parade. But yeah, I got like I think Barkley could have a big game. I think Jalen Carter could have a big game. I think this game is going to be won within the lines. Do you have a bold prediction, or are you asking me to give a bold prediction? Carter fumble, yes. That's what I'm thinking. Like a strip sack, or he's going to do something big. So I got Carter. I'll take Carter for this one. Um, I think the defense could put up some points this game, but yeah, guys, this has been it's been a fun one. It's been a very fun show. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I know we've been very sporadic this year, so I always ask. The best part to do it is you keep those notifications turned on, and yeah, you guys can get us whenever we go live. I'm looking. Unless I do a show Sunday, which I'm not gonna bank on, this probably will be the we won't do a show next week because of Christmas, which leads me to Merry Christmas and Happy New Year or Happy Holidays to everyone out there. Whatever you celebrate it safely and with your loved ones. Yeah, Keith would rather do trivia and plays than talk sports with us. It's a shame. It's a shame, chat, but it is what it is. We should and could get Greg Hall on with us sometimes, and Keith is. We could also get Keith as well, but either way, we'll be coming on and we'll be doing it. We'll be back. We'll be back right on in the new year. Next year we might not be able to do a show again with the holidays, which I just. I need you guys all out to have a happy and healthy. But then, yeah, we're gonna get at it, and we'll be talking some sports. And we're trying to look here. The next show the next show we'll be talking about. The next show we'll be talking about the Cowboys. Oh, we got Kevin Christian, yeah. Kev Christian, who was great for us in the Radio Bucks days. But yeah, it's been. Well, I guess he was here. What draft day? Last time we had Kevin Christian on. We had everyone on. That was. Was that this draft day or was that last draft day? But yeah, man, we all get older. It gets a little tougher. It is. It's tough. But Ustream, I just saw Stickam the other day, Joe. I think you've even been on Stickam. Stickam may have been before Ustream. I can't remember, but I saw a Stickam post in my memories. It said, "Join me live on Stickam." I'm like, holy shit! I forgot about that one for sure. For sure. Yeah, the Ustream post game Flyers shows. Where was the hits. That was for sure. But all right, guys, I want to get out of here and enjoy like an hour before I gotta get ready to go to sleep and wake up and go to work and do the whole nine again. I really do appreciate you guys. The greatest gift that I get is a chat room that was as active as it was tonight. I appreciate you guys for hopping in, hopping on, and spending your time with me. More than anything, time is the most valuable asset. And for you guys to spend your time with me talking Philadelphia sports, it warms my heart. And I hope you guys know that I never take a second of this for granted. And I really appreciate when you guys are here. Whether you're new or whether you've been here for fucking way too long like Joe, I appreciate it. So with that, guys, have a happy and healthy holidays. We'll probably be back before the new year, but if not, happy new year too. Like I said, we could be back Sunday, and then I'll do this whole bit again. But just in case, I have to get that out there because you guys mean the world to me, and I appreciate it. So, with that, I am Anthony Pinto, and we are out of here. Let's go, birds.